Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Joy Harris Bird, and today on this episode of Creator Talk, we're talking about my short film, Alter. Yeah. Let's get into it. Alright, so today we're talking about Alter, and Alter is something different than what I've normally put out there. I've done cartoons, I've done drama, I even have a comedy coming up, and I already kind of did comedy a little bit with California Dream, but I never really have done anything sci-fi. But I love everything sci-fi. One of my favorite movies is actually Enemy of the State. The writers and the directors, it's just such a good movie. The storytelling, all the things about it, I love it. So when I had the idea to make Alter, I knew I wanted to bring in the sci-fi aspect. I wanted the robots, the humanoids, all the things that come with making a sci-fi thriller. So when I sat down to write the script, my first thought process was, what is this movie trying to say? And who is it trying to say it to? So everything that I put out to do at Joy Park Studios, it always has a bigger meaning. Like there's always something bigger. It's not just a simple story. So when you finally see Alter and you see what it is and you see what it's about, you're going to see that there's something bigger at play. So when I was casting for this, I knew that whoever I chose to play the lead character, which is Dr. Elise Carter, she's a neuroscientist, I knew it had to be somebody who was calculated, somebody who could kind of, really bring the viewers into their world and get them to love them and maybe even hate them. I don't know. It depends on, how they feel about the plot, but I knew I needed somebody who could be versatile. And so when I put the casting call out, first of all, I think people really sleep on Threads. I find so much great talent on Threads. So I put the casting call out on Threads, and I was overrun with just so much talent, so many different people who were like, oh my gosh, I want to be a part of this. They really resonated just with the log line and how I described it and the character. But there was one person that really stood out from her audition and from her reel, and that was Santasha.
Look at it, or you might look like I'm minimizing the scene, or just go straight into it?
Yeah, just look at it. That's what we already have you minimized.
Okay.
So Santasha, she auditioned to be a part of Alter, and when I was watching her reel, it was one particular clip that she had put in where she was really showing this really raw emotion, and I knew that she was going to be the one that I needed to kind of bring the story to life. So once we had the lead in play, we have to find her counterpart. We have to find her, her Detective Hale. He's the other lead actor in this film. And Detective Hale, he has to be someone who is kind of grounded. You don't really see a lot of emotion from them per se with how they're talking, but you can see it in their presence, in their actions, and the different things that they do. So I was looking for someone who kind of had a quiet stillness, but could also bring the energy when needed. And out of all the actors that submitted for Detective Hale, it was one that stood out, and that was Broderick. So Broderick, I actually met him first when I was doing my screening for Deliver Us. He had actually came to support the film. And so when I put out the casting call, he auditioned, he sent his tape in, he sent all of his information in, and he has such a calming presence about him. And when I was listening to his voice reel and watching his demo, I'm like, I think that he really can bring what I need for this Detective Hale character. And honestly, let me tell you, on set, he was on top of it. He knew his lines, he knew everything that was supposed to be going on. He really embodied the character. Him and Santasha together, they really balanced off of each other really well. I was so pleased with the way that the film really took place on set. And, I think the last Creator Talk, I was kind of talking about all of the mishaps and the things that really went on with Deliver Us. But honestly, when it comes to this Alter set, I feel like this was one of the calmest, smoothest run sets that I have been a part of. Now, mind you, it was never the actors or anything like that for Deliver Us. It was more so, I feel like myself and my leadership team, we just kind of kept running into snags that we weren't prepared for. So having to do and deal with all that on Deliver Us, it made us over prepare for Alter. We were making sure we had everything. And we actually had less people for Alter than we have for Deliver Us. But, you know, experience is the best teacher. So everything we learned from Deliver Us, we carried that forward. And everything that we learned from Alter, we're going to carry that forward into our next production. But Alter was just like such a calm set. It was like a really just like a vibe. It was like a dark, intimate atmosphere. Everything takes place in an interrogation room. We had Nathan Hames. He came back as the DP. Jermaine, he came back. He got some BTS for us. He stepped in for the sound. He also did a little voiceover when we needed it. He was just like everything we needed. He was there. Victoria John, she was back. So for Deliver Us, she was our PA, but she actually was the first AD for Alter. Bree, she was back as our hair and makeup, killing the game as always. Kyle Bird, of course, our COO of the company. He was wearing all the hats, doing all the things. Who else was there? I think that's it. And then you have me as the writer and the director. We shot at this place called the Media Block. Shout out to the Media Block. It was such a vibe in there. Like everything was so clean and the space was just exactly what we needed to film the short film. The shots that we got and the script itself and the twist of it, I think it's really going to be something that really resonates with the viewers. Making a short film is not easy. You know, there's so many different things that goes into planning and making the short film. So from script to screen, there's so much that goes in. Like that's a whole series within itself of everything that you need to prepare to bring your vision to life. But honestly, when I was on set, there was one moment where I was looking at the playback on the monitor, and I'm like, man, this looks so good. You know, it's nothing like being a creator and actually seeing what's in your head. Because, you know, when you're a creative, you have so many different ideas in your head all the time. Like, I would just be sitting down, I'll be in the middle of doing something else, and I'll have an idea to do something else new. So to actually see one of the ideas make it out your head onto the screen, like it's a feeling like no other. So that's really everything that was going on with Alter. Like I said, set life was great. Crew was great. I really like what we're building at Joy Park. I really like the crew that we're building with because we have plans to take Joy Park not just in Houston, but to make sure that people know it all over the world. And it means a lot to me for the people who are really catching on now to the vision and coming with us and working with us and while we're building. So as we continue to go higher, as we continue to grow, you know, we really want to kind of take this crew with us and see them do great things. I think Nathan actually just directed his own short film as well. And just everyone that's involved, we want them to just grow and evolve, and just they'll forever be a part of the Joy Park family. Like whatever projects that we have, we definitely want to reach out to the same actors, same crew. We give them kind of first dibs on what we're doing because they believed in the vision before anyone else ever saw it. Also, make sure you subscribe to Joy Park on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook to stay up to date to everything that I have going on. And of course, subscribe right here to All Things Joy on YouTube so you can stay up to date with your girl. But thanks for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Peace.